we've done this before in 5.1. If you can remember, we did those awesome graphs where you had to find the x-intercepts or the zeros, and that's where you plotted those on the x-axis, and then you had to decide, like, bounce, cross, what do they do? We're not doing the bouncing and crossing thing today, but we are going to find what the x-intercepts are. So I think I gave you a couple that had to be factored in 5.1. So we're basically doing that again. We're just revisiting it, okay? So steps here. 1, make sure you arrange it so that it's equal to 0. 2, factor it using the appropriate strategy. Use your flowchart to help you think about what to do. Once it's factored, you just set your factors equal to 0. All right, so we're going to try and do this step by step. I promise it's not that bad. Is it equal to 0? Yes. Huzzah. You can solve it. I only want you to solve it, guys, if it's an equation. There has to be an equal sign. If there's no equal sign, do not solve it. You are just going to factor it. But this time we're going to solve it. So now let's go ahead and figure out how to factor it. Check your little flow chart. First thing we look for is a GCF. Does it have one? Sure does. What is it? X. You're getting good at this. So bring out the X. And that would mean we're taking away 1 from each term. So it's going to become x squared minus 1x minus 20. And let's go ahead and keep that equal to 0. So we don't forget, we have to solve this in a second. This is then when we ponder. Take it a step further, right? We can't stop here because now we're going to try and factor the inside. This is like your first skill yesterday. How many terms do we have? 2, 3, or 4? 3. So what should we do? You have 3 terms. You should play the x game. 2 numbers that multiply to negative 20 and add up to the b term is negative 1. Okay, so can you ponder that for a second? What are your numbers? Multiply to negative 20, add to negative 1. So make sure you got your signs in the right spot. Which number should be negative? The 5. Negative 5, positive 4. I am not going to take the long way. The a value here is 1, so we can take the shortcut. Don't have to do grouping. So x, and then it would be x minus 5, x plus 4. Again, let's keep that equal to 0 because it's an equation we have to solve. So far, this should not be groundbreaking news to you. We've done this kind of factoring for like 2 weeks now. This is something that we did in 5.1. Do you remember how I actually get the zeros? Set these equal to 0. You make these tiny equations, and we solve them. Well, that one's already done, so there's one answer. Right? We make these tiny equations. X minus 5 equals 0. A lot of you, I think, know how to do this in your head. That would get me 5. And then I do the last one, x plus 4. So take each of your factors. Make sure you don't forget the GCF in front. So negative 4. So my x-intercepts, or my zeros, are 0, 5, and negative 4. If we were doing the thing we did at the beginning of the unit, we would then plot those and then figure out if they're bouncing or crossing. We're not doing that right now, but that is something that like you'll see again, right? Okay, this one does not work unless we fix it, and we're going to make this, so it can't be a plus sign. It actually needs to be negative 7, otherwise you're going to have a problem, and it's not going to factor by grouping correctly. So make it a negative 7, and then it should work out okay. Okay, so step 1, you have to make sure it's equal to 0. Is it equal to 0? No. So that means that this stuff on the right side's got to move over there. We move things to the other side in math by doing the opposite. So if it's positive x squared, I should subtract it. And since it's negative 7, I would add it. And obviously what we do to one side, we have to do the other, so we'll do that over here as well. These are gone. Here's the thing, I don't actually have anything to combine it with on the left side, and so that means we're just going to rewrite it. as a new polynomial here. Make sure it's in standard form, highest to lowest. X to the third minus x squared minus 7x plus 7. Now it's equal to 0. Okay, so there's no GCF, so how many terms do we have? 4, not 5. The 0 doesn't count. So 4, which means, look at your flow chart, that means we are going to split it and factor by grouping. So split it down the middle, and if you feel like you can do this one by yourself, then go for it. I take the GCF of each side. Squared. I think, right? Because when you do x squared divided by itself, you don't get 0 or x, it's just 1. This side should be -7. Make sure that you regroup it when you're done with this and your parentheses match. So you get x squared minus 7 in one parentheses, and the one that's the same in another. The whole point of today is taking something like this, though, and solving it. So what do I do with these factors? Like what now? Send them to 0. You know. It's okay. You can talk to me. X minus 1 is equal to 0, and then you get, add 1. It would be 1. If you actually have to show the plus 1, that's fine. But we're in second semester algebra 2, so I'm not going to show all my steps. All right, your next one, same thing. We have to set it equal to 0. So x squared minus 7 is equal to 0. We can solve this. Okay, let's just think, what should we do first? You add the 7, which would get me x squared is equal to 0 plus 7, which is 7. Okay, just a throwback. How do I get rid of the squared? Square root. Oh, this is first semester stuff. And when you take a square root, what do you do right away? Plus or minus? Oh, it's back. So it is plus or minus the square root of 7. Please do not give me a decimal. You're going to leave it like that. So you do get 3 answers here. You get positive square root of 7, which is a decimal. Negative square root of 7, also a decimal. And 1. And when you go to like type things in on Delta Math today, it will let you do the plus or minus sign, although you can also split it up if you want. No. Okay. It's already equal to 0. There's not a GCF, so now you need to think about how many terms does it have? It has 2 terms, because we don't count the 0. 2 terms, that means that if you look at the whiteboard over there, you are looking to decide if you have either squares or cubes. So think about that. Okay, squares is the correct answer. Because 9 is a perfect square, and when you have multiples of 2 for your exponent, that counts as a perfect square. Obviously, 4 can't divide by 3, so that doesn't work. So let's think about what this would have to be. Obviously, your first term has to have an x. If I just do x, is that going to work for me? No, because it'll get you x squared. So we talked about this yesterday. What's it got to be then? X squared squared. Fun. And then your second term, 9, is the same thing as, what's the square root of 9? 3. So we're doing pretty better. Like we're doing better with this. Your example of difference of squares is over here, but it's a plus b, a minus b. So I should have x squared plus 3, x squared minus 3. I don't care which one you put first, but please do make sure it's still equal to 0. Because that's the whole point of today. So we did our difference of squares. We double check and make sure, can I factor any of those again? Or either of, well, really the second parentheses. Is this one difference of squares? Put a minus sign. No, because 3 is not a perfect square. So you're done. but we're going to solve these. We'll do the one on the right first because it's nicer. So we'll solve this just like we did the last one. Add the 3 to the other side, and you get 3. What do I do to both sides? Square root. And anytime you take the square root, you put plus or minus. Okay. Okay. Plus minus. So x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 3, and you do leave it like that. It counts as one of your answers. Or I guess 2, right? Because you have positive and negative. Don't forget that. Your next one works the exact same way. So this time we have plus 3. When we subtract 3, because we do that first, we get negative 3. And what happens when you take the square root of a negative number? You have I. Oh, sweet. It's back. It will never go away. Yes, it is here all year, folks. Plus or minus I root 3. I might write another step in between just so you see it. Sorry. Plus or minus square root of negative 3. Because there's a negative, the square root of negative 1, remember, is I, so you write it as plus or minus I root 3. Okay, so this one has 4 answers. 2 real answers, or 2 real solutions, positive square root of 3, negative square root of 3, and then 2 non-real or imaginary, positive I root 3, negative I root 3.